and when he speaks, things are created by his words. In him is life, because he is the one who spoke God's words, and brought us into being, through the power of the Holy Spirit. But that's not all. Amazingly, the very first Hebrew word in Genesis depicts the whole plan of God's salvation for man. The original Hebrew is not the same as the Hebrew we have today, but has evolved from Hebrew pictographs. These original Hebrew letters bring amazing insight into the meaning behind God's words. The first word in the Bible is the Hebrew word, Bereshit, translated as in the beginning. This is how the word, Bereshit, looks in the original pictographs. It's comprised of the Hebrew letters, Bet, pictured as a house, or tent, and means house, as in the house of God. Resh, is pictured as a man's head, meaning the first or highest person. Aleph, is pictured as an ox head, meaning God and strength, as in the Lord is my strength. Shin, is pictured as two teeth, meaning to consume or destroy. Yod, is pictured as an arm, from the fist to the elbow, meaning my hand or works. And Tav, is pictured as two crossed sticks, meaning a covenant, or mark. The very first two letters of Bereshit, the Bet, and Resh, form the Hebrew word Bar, which means son, as in my son. The Aleph is God. The Shin means destroyed. The Yod is the hand or works. And the Tav are the two crossed sticks, which mean covenant. In John 2:19, Jesus said to the Jews, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days, I will raise it up." Then the Jews said, "This temple was 46 years building, and will you rear it up in 3 days?" But he spoke of the temple of his body. Look at the symbol for Bet. It is the very house of God, in the form of man, the highest person. And amazingly, these two letters together formed the word for son. Yes, indeed, the Son of God referred to himself as the temple of God. And clearly we can see that in the very first word of the Bible, God's wonderful plan of salvation was prepared. That the Son of God would destroy the sinful works of our hands on the covenant cross of sticks. Isn't that astounding, that the first word of the Bible could contain so much truth? Without doubt, God's plan to save man was there from the foundation of the world. And the book of Revelation 13:8 confirms this by calling Jesus the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. Yes, from the foundation of the world. From the first word Bereshit, spoken in Genesis. But there is an even deeper meaning to the Alpha and Omega, the Aleph, and Tav, found in the first verse of Genesis. For in the original Hebrew pictographs, the Aleph, or Alpha, is portrayed as an ox head, meaning God and strength. And the Tav, or Omega, is the two crossed sticks of covenant. Yes, in the Alpha and Omega, we find the whole plan of God. That God himself, symbolized by the ox head, would make a covenant with man by the cross of sticks. Yes, my friend. God the Word became like a sacrificial animal. The ox or lamb, which was slaughtered as a sin offering. And he was placed on that cross of sticks. The Aleph and Tav, the first and the last, portrays the whole story of the Messiah. That God would place his sacrificial animal, his strength, his leader, the Messiah, on a cross of sticks, as a sign to mark his covenant with man. It's absolutely astounding that the ancient Hebrew could tell the whole story of the Messiah in 2 letters. And it's clear that the cross was not originally a Roman symbol, but a Hebrew symbol, which meant covenant. But the Jews wouldn't know this unless they had studied the ancient Hebrew letter, Tav. When God told Moses to write the Aleph and Tav in the book of Genesis, and told the prophet Isaiah that he was the first and the last. God himself was declaring, "You see this Jesus, he is the Messiah, who is going to die on the cross, for the sinful works of your hands. He is the Creator, who was in the beginning. He is the perfect sacrificial animal, placed on the cross of sticks. He is my word. He is my covenant. He is my signature, my Alpha and Omega. And he is your salvation." So now we understand why John wrote, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning, with God." So the Bible declares that without the one called the Word, nothing would have come into existence. For the Word is the part of God which spoke all into being. In John 14:7, Philip said to Jesus, "Lord, show us the Father, and it is sufficient for us." Jesus said to him, "Have I been with you for so long a time? And yet you have not known me, Philip? He that has seen me has seen the Father. So how can you say, 'Show us the Father'?"